On my previous video, I've shown you this bracelet on my jewelry haul, or how to find cheap findings to make jewelries with. This component has got holes on the sides, so there's 4 holes. So now, I'll just tip it over. I'm taking 21 gauge brass wire, and it's quite soft. So I'm just going to take the center point and I'm going to feed this through the side hole. So 1 on each end. Put that together and pull that through. And I'll do the same on the opposite side. So now the next step is to get a mandrel. And I'm doing a size 6.5. So I'm just going to wrap this around, so that's a size 6.5, but I'm doing it between 6 and 7, so I'll lay that and grabbing the 2 ends, I'm just going to take the center and wrap them around like that. So we'll just secure that. So and twist it to the other side. And then now I'll take my ring mandrel off and I'll just clamp this side just to secure that. And we'll take, see from that side there, so that's the wire from that side, so I'm just going to bring it up again and insert it back to the opposite side. So I'm just feeding it through where it came out first. And we'll just push it along and pull it. Make it nice and tight. And so now I'm just going to wrap it down. So I've got 3 wraps or loops that I made. Try and make it even. And so I'll do the same on the opposite side here. And I'll feed it through. Pull it. Nice and tight. And I'll wrap it as well. So I'll just line up those ones, adjust it a little bit. And I'll wrap it 3 times. So there. So now I'm going to let go of my clamp and I'll just put it back into my ring mandrel just to make sure that I still have the right size. Because once we wrap it onto the other side, that's it. There's no going back. So that's still between 6 and 7. So now I'm just going to pull this towards the opposite side here, because we're going to do the same as we did on the other side, and I'll just straighten out any kink. And we'll feed that one through there, that hole, and we'll do the same on the other side. And I'll take my ring mandrel off. There we go. So now we'll wrap this up again. So now, once we get to this stage, we have both sides wrap up 3 times. Now I'm going to go over to the other side, so I'm just crisscrossing the 2. So I'll go that way. And the opposite side. Do the same. And I'm going to do the other side. So now I'll insert my mandrel just to maintain the shape. So we're just going to wrap that 3 times as well, but I'll take my mandrel off because that's not supposed to move. Because so I'm just going to wrap this up 3 times, and we'll just pack that in with the rest. So that way it's all nice lined up, because we're going to have a gap there anyway, but I want it bunching up with the other one there. Now we're going to crisscross it again. So I'll go with that side there. And this one again. So now you can see that's starting to form an overlapping pattern. And so I'm going to wrap this up again 3 times. And we'll just do the same on the opposite side. So after all that wrapping and crisscrossing, I'm nearly at the end now. So if you can see, there's only a tiny little bit of gap there. So I'm going to do the opposite side. I am nearly at the end of my opposite side of my ring. And as you can see, it's sort of wonky. So once you get to this stage and your ring is out of shape, don't worry about it, because you can always straighten it out. Now I'm just going to go ahead and finish it off, because I still got a gap there. So now I'm at the back. So I've done, this is the first side I've done, so which is nice and wide up the top here, and it sort of narrows down, it tapers down. This one's the same, but I end up with a wider gap. If you do get to this stage we're in, the 2 sides are not even, don't worry about it. There's nothing you can't fix. So, but what you do is put it on my mandrel here, so which is still perfect, that's tied already, and it's just perfect between 6 to 7, or really it's 6.5. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do some adjustments. So any big gaps, sort of like that, you can just pack that in or tighten it up. Even there, if you're quite happy with that one, that's all right. But I am not happy with this. I know this is just brass wire, so I shouldn't really fret too much, but this is good practice for when you're doing your wire wrapping on expensive gemstones and also expensive wire, because it's good to practice on cheap wire first up before you work on your expensive material. So now the next step is, I have those gaps there, even sort of roughly even gap. So now what I want to do is squash them. So this middle part here, because it's sort of sticking out a bit or a little bit too high for my liking. So I'm just going to get a wide flat nose pliers and then just flatten them. So there we go. And I'll do the opposite side as hard as I could. Put that down, and we're just going to finish this off now. So you could leave it like that, which I think is quite pretty, but we have to secure this. So what we'll do is just continue wrapping it up until we run out. So now, if I cover that, see, I only have a tiny little bit of gap left there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish this off and cut it off. So I'll insert it on the other side. So we'll just find a space somewhere we can insert it or tuck it in where it's not going to catch on. And I'll put this one aside, and then I can cut those 2 wires on one side of our ring here. So now we just cut that there inside. And we'll squash it and tuck it in. So that way it doesn't catch on. Nice. So I can't even see it anymore. Well, I can see it's tucked in right in the groove there. So I'll do the same on the opposite side. So now I've finished the back and cut off my wires. So now we'll put it on a ring mandrel. I'm just going to get my rubber mallet and just speed it up so as to reinforce the shape. So now it's finished.